Mammography is one of the best screening tools to find breast cancer. Breast cancer may not be preventable, but you can survive it through early detection. If you're a mother or grandmother, sister or best friend,
aunt or cousin,
we encourage you to know your risk, make healthy lifestyle choices, and to know what's normal for your body.
Get screened, get your mammogram annually.
We did!
COB reappoints Dr. Rodney Smith. A major publication highlights Bahamar's hurdles. A call for the National Security Minister to apologize, plus the dangers of gambling addiction. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 Weekend starts right now. News tonight, former College of the Bahamas president Dr. Rodney Smith has been reappointed for a period of 3 years. COB announced in a statement last evening that Smith will assume office on Monday, October 6. Smith came under fire this week after the Nassau Guardian revealed he was asking for a $400,000 salary. However, COB said in its statement, contrary to public speculation about the salary and benefits package of the new president, the college wishes to assure stakeholders and the public that Dr. Rodney Smith's remuneration is consistent with that of previous holders of the office of president. Former COB President Betsy Vogel-Bowes made a little over $100,000 a year. Smith, who served as COB president between 2004 and 2005, resigned amid a plagiarism scandal. Well, as construction on the multi-billion-dollar Baha Mar resort continues, one noted U.S. newspaper is questioning if the project's delayed opening and reported labor disputes will impact future Chinese investments as well as the resort itself. An article in the Wall Street Journal outlined several problems. Tourism Minister Obi Wolchcom admits government has similar concerns, but expressed confidence in the project.
I think what it does is it demands a tremendous amount of public relations and marketing. I think Bahamas is at a stage now where it's moving toward its opening by mid-next year. Obviously, some issues in the past are to take note of, but is it going to cause any further delay? And is it going to mean that the project will not proceed? We think not. So Bahamar, together with the Ministry of Tourism and the Bahamas generally, must make sure that the world knows that the project, which will be the first and biggest in the Caribbean, first of its kind, we have to make sure the world knows it's taking place and that it will be opened.
The Wall Street Journal article titled China's Bahamas Project Hits Hurdles details construction delays, local resentment, and labor disputes. The article, which has been widely circulated online, notes thousands of Chinese workers were flown in for construction on Baha Mar despite the nation's high unemployment rate. And this Chinese workforce lives, eats, and sleeps on site rather than contribute to local restaurants and hotels. The article also notes local businesses and employees have complained they aren't getting their fair share of economic benefits. Well, Wolchcom said the government has raised similar concerns with Chinese and Baha Mar officials.
We voiced some of those concerns as well to them, and I think when the Prime Minister met with Mr. Esmeralian soon after he became the government, that was expressed. I know when he met with the President of China, he expressed that particular position, particularly as it relates to labor and moving forward. If we intend to do any business in the future, there must be a better understanding. And I think there is an understanding because the whole purpose of bringing investment to the Bahamas is to ensure that Bahamians are able to participate from the ground level to the very top. Truth is, the very first time doing a major project with China, we discovered that a part of doing it is their labor, because they're providing employment for their people. So those are things we have to work out. So it's a teachable moment, if you like, but the truth is we do understand some of the concerns raised, and we've raised some of the concerns as well.
Ultimately, Wolchcom said the government is optimistic about Baha Mar and looking forward to the resort's opening. He noted that another major U.S. publication has taken notice of Baha Mar, but in a more positive light. He said U.S.-based magazine Vanity Fair has teamed up with the resort for a marketing campaign.
But we're very optimistic about Bahama. We've done a tour with Sarkis Esmeraldian, and he showed us where they are, and the fact that many of the hotels are just now waiting for rugs. Some are just waiting for wallpaper, some of the things that's required. But they've made and come a long way. Just to note that Vanity Fair magazine, one of the top-rated magazines in America, started its marketing campaign with Bahama just last week. Wonderful magazine, talking about the jet settings of the past, and here we go again. So we have a tremendous amount of marketing that's required, but I feel very good. I think it's going to be okay. But we cannot discount the fact that when a story appears in Wall Street, we know we're talking to an upscale market. We're talking about a reputable media organization.
Bahamar's Senior Vice President of Administration and External Affairs, Robert Sands, said Bahamar does not comment on other media reports, and the development is very focused on its spring 2015 grand opening. In other news, Montague MP Richard Lightbourne says the Prime Minister's latest comments on the Renward Wells letter of intent controversy show a lack of leadership. In the House of Assembly Thursday night, Christie called on Wells to speak the truth on the details surrounding the LOI he signed with Stellar Waste to Energy in July, adding he should not let others seek to denigrate him. Well, Lightbourne says as Prime Minister, Christie should be the one to address the matter.
I was not personally impressed with what the Prime Minister had to say in Parliament. I really felt that we're dealing with a serious issue, and I would have thought that he would have taken the opportunity to address it properly. He seems to feel that he'll do it in his own time. Well, a matter such as this, I think, does not take 3 months to resolve. And to expect Mr. Wells to resolve the matter, I think, is passing the buck. Prime Minister needs to take charge, explain what happened to the country. The country needs to know what went on, and unfortunately, he seems unable to respond.
Wells, who is the parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Work, signed a letter of intent for a $600 million plus waste-to-energy plant for the New Providence landfill without cabinet approval. Lightbourne told NB12 the fact that Christie and Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis have yet to issue definitive public statements on the matter only shows the government must believe the matter is insignificant, and in that case, a statement should be forthcoming. He questioned what's taking the nation's leaders so long to address the issue.
I think it's showing lack of leadership on the part of the Prime Minister. I really don't know what to expect with regard to this whole issue. The government seems to be suggesting it is a matter of relative insignificance, but if that was the case, I would have thought the Prime Minister could have dealt with it 3 months ago. I would have thought that at some point in time, he would have taken charge of the issue and dealt with it. And I don't expect Mr. Wells to be the person to have to respond to it.
Embattled Fort Charlotte MP Andre Rollins has been vocal on the issue. He said earlier this week it appears Wells is caught up in the midst of a leadership struggle. Lightbourne said he agrees with Rollins.
I would agree with him, and I indicated during my contribution that I felt that Mr. Rollins was correct. It appears that that is what is happening. On the one hand, you have the Prime Minister stating that the member should resign. A few days later, the deputy says, "Oh, I'm not sure this is a matter which requires his resignation." Then it's dragged on further. We've had an investigation into the matter. And then, again, the deputy said a few days ago that the matter had been fully resolved and expect the Prime Minister would deal with it when he returned. The Prime Minister, I think, has on at least 3 occasions indicated he's going to deal with it, in this case, in a few weeks after the report is provided, and then after he's come back from Las Vegas. I don't know, Christmas coming too.
Outspoken religious leader and former head of the National Advisory Council on Crime, Bishop Simeon Hall, says Minister of National Security Dr. Bernard Nottage owes the Bahamian people an apology for the government's failed response to crime. He says that failure is further highlighted by the fact that Nottage and Prime Minister Perry Christie recently disagreed on crime-fighting strategies. Our Desmond Brown has more in this report.
Holding very little back, he bashed the Christie administration, insisting they spent the past 2.5 years touting failed crime strategy.
Hall blames Minister of National Security Dr. Bernard Nottage. Last week, Nottage responded to criticisms of the government's approach to fighting crime. He also suggested that the government may not need to go back to the drawing board with its crime strategies, somewhat contradicting comments made by Prime Minister Perry Christie last month. Hall, who once chaired the National Advisory Council on Crime, strongly disagrees with Nottage.
I disagree with Minister Nottage.
Hall says those strategies need more than just revamping, as they have failed repeatedly. He also insisted Nottage should apologize to the Bahamian people for his performance as National Security Minister over the past 28 months.
Minister Nottage is soon have to apologize to the Bahamian people for the crime, the murder rate being what it is, when his party criticized the government then for murder.
Hall insisted the entire Christie administration should be particularly embarrassed for failing to solve an issue the PLP highlighted while on the campaign trail. In the run-up to the 2012 election, the Progressive Liberal Party erected posters highlighting the number of murders that were recorded under the Ingram administration.
We cannot continue to politicize crime and then a shift when we get in government. The PLP, while in opposition, put placards all over the place about the FNM. The FNM now are pointing the finger at the PLP. I think we need to divorce ourselves from finger pointing and make a national approach.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Speaking of crime, police are investigating 2 overnight shooting incidents and 2 stabbings. 2 of the incidents took place at local nightclubs. A 28-year-old Augusta Street man was at a Poinciana Avenue nightclub around 1 a.m. with a woman when he encountered his alleged ex, who was there with a man. This resulted in a confrontation, and the man produced a handgun and fired several shots at the victim, hitting him once in the thigh. In another incident, a 37-year-old Providence Avenue man says he was at a nightclub in that area around 1:45 a.m. with a woman when another man approached his friend seeking to dance. Police say this resulted in an argument, and the victim was stabbed multiple times about the body. Police also reporting a 51-year-old Blue Hill Road man was at Poinciana Drive just before 1 a.m. when a gunman approached him and demanded cash. A struggle ensued, resulting in the gunman shooting the victim to the knee before escaping. And a 59-year-old Apache Alley man was closing his business establishment around 1:30 a.m. when he was confronted by another man who attacked and stabbed him multiple times. Police have taken a 47-year-old Romer Street man into custody for questioning. When NB12 returns, concerns expressed about the gaming bill and gambling addiction. Stay with us.